My name is James. I'm from the UK and I currently work in the recruitment team at our EF Shanghai head office. I've been living in China now for 4 years. I arrived out here in 2017 where I was teaching with EF Hangzhou, and I've been recruiting both at regional level and at national level now for the past 3 years. Absolutely, but it is worth taking extra precaution because I know that a lot of sauces and soups here in China that are served with food may contain traces of peanuts, so it's worth double checking whenever you're placing an order. My mother came out to China to visit me a couple of years ago and she has quite a severe allergy to eggs. But when prior to coming out here, she was able to obtain a little allergy card from the NHS in the UK, from the hospital, which they can print out and translate into any language, so that when we went to a restaurant whilst we were out here, we would just show this card to the waiter or the waitress, so that we would know whether or not what it was that we were ordering contained egg or any traces of egg. So yeah, I think the main thing to keep in mind with regards to this is that just be sure to ask, to double check when you're in a restaurant. Maybe use a couple of apps on your phone to put across your allergy, and just ensure that you're not going to be eating any kind of hidden gluten or any kind of hidden soy or peanut, whatever it may be. Yeah, very safe. I'm not saying that things like petty crime don't happen, but I can only speak on account of personal experience living in a city of more than 20 million people, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that I feel safer here in a city of 20 million than I do in the town where I'm from back home, which has a population of about 20,000. I think for me on a day-to-day basis, the biggest safety concern is things like traffic safety. You do have to take precaution when crossing the streets. There's lots of motorcycles, bicycles, e-bikes that can be coming in all kinds of different directions. Driving can be quite erratic at times as well. So yeah, taking extra precaution when crossing the road is recommended. But besides that, I would say that it is a very, very safe country. I think the answer to this question will really depend on where it is that you're living. Like any other country in the world, typically your larger cities in China, so Shanghai and Beijing and Shenzhen will have a higher cost of living than, say, smaller or medium-sized cities. But by comparison with much of the rest of the Western world, rent is typically a lot lower, food prices are typically lower as well. And when I moved out here to China, I wasn't running a car, I was using public transportation, I had much less in the way of direct debits and outgoing expenses. So my savings potential increased significantly as a result of that. To be honest, air quality wasn't so much of an issue for me prior to arriving out here, although I was aware of China's reputation for high levels of pollution and poor air quality. And when I arrived in Hangzhou in 2017, the city had hosted the G20 summits the year beforehand, and government and local authorities made extensive efforts to really kind of clean up and spruce up the city itself in preparation for the event. And they maintained those standards every year since then. I think if pollution is a big concern for you, I would definitely recommend carrying out some research and looking into things like the air quality index, which give a good indication of a city's air quality levels of pollution. Because like anywhere in the world, certain places, perhaps given the climates, might suffer from slightly worse air quality than others. So yeah, something to maybe bear in mind if that is a concern.